Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm back with another Bands You Need to Hear recommendation. Another band that is well worth you checking out if you fancy something a little bit new, a little bit different maybe. If you haven't come across this particular band before, I would strongly recommend that you remedy that. So, today's band in question hail from Germany. Founded in around 2008, quite a while, they've been around now. However, they actually only have two releases. A long EP that was released in 2011. I say quite a long EP, it's sort of getting on towards the half an hour mark. Self-titled release. And they have one full-length album, the debut album that was released in 2017, entitled Trance of Death. And we are talking about Venenum. Now, apologies if I am mispronouncing that name, but I believe it's Venenum. That's how it's spelled. Anyway, so Venenum, hailing from Germany, as I say, not a massive amount to explore in their catalogue. But what we do have is two very interesting and very good releases. So showing off the insert of the full-length debut, which is a tape I have in tape format. I think that you can probably find, if you look hard enough, you could probably find Venenum's releases on CD or certainly on digital format and streaming, but I happen to have both as tapes, cassette tapes, courtesy of the good and the great Darkness Shall Rise Productions, also from Germany, a great label that, if you're not familiar with them, you definitely need to check out Darkness Shall Rise Productions. I'm not affiliated with them, of course. Haven't had that honour, but I would say they're a great label and they do a lot of reissues of quite obscure or hard to find albums and discographies on tape. They also do vinyl and they also do CDs as well, but primarily what drew me in the first instance anyway to Darkness Shall Rise Productions is the awesome tapes. I think they're so good. These inserts are such high quality. They're really well laid out, and there's a lot of thought and effort that's clearly gone into these releases. And I've got these two, which I've had in the collection for quite a while ago. I'm pretty sure they featured in a unboxing that I did. I can't honestly remember where I sourced these from now. Should probably delve back into that. But regardless, Venenum. Two releases, really good, but very different. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a fan of death metal. I love death metal, just as I love my black metal, thrash metal, all the good heavy stuff. So this is a death metal band, but I'm not a massive fan of things that are quite, should we say, progressive, or even things that are really quite technical. I'm a bit more of an old school kind of death metal fan. I like things to be full of headbang worthy chuggy riffs. That's me. I quite like things that are a little bit more simple. But Venenum, with their debut EP, their first release, they were more rooted in old school death metal. It's quite doomy. There's a lot of death doom vibes going on here. It's weighty stuff. You know, I use this comparison point quite a lot, but it's in the kind of atmospheric death doom vein of a band like Grave Miasma, where it's firmly rooted in old school death metal. It's very doomy, a little bit Asphyx-like at times as well, but it's got plenty of atmosphere. And I think the fact that it's on tape really works as well, because it has that kind of old school lo-fi ambience to it, and it really does work. I'm sure that it would still sound great if you heard this release on digital format as well, of course. But this is a great first release, and I like this. This is, as I say, much more old school death metal, old school death doom. If you like your riffs thick and heavy, if you like gutturals and low growls, if you like your thunderous drums, then you're going to enjoy this. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily groundbreaking stuff. 2011, death metal had been around for a while by then, so no, maybe not anything particularly groundbreaking, but it's really good quality, heavy death metal. And there's some particularly great tracks here. So it kicks off with Bewitched Craft, which is a great number. But the particular standout from the first side, I think, is Crown of Reversion, third track, weighty. And the second track, of course, Veneficium? Beneficium? I'm not quite sure. Probably mispronouncing that again. But hey, great introduction there. Really solid stuff. Great riffs, good vocals. Drumming's top notch. Can't fault it. Second side is slightly longer. We've got Death Scent. Again, standouts tend to be towards the latter. We've got Abominate Ways into Lunar Tomb Fields, which is quite interesting stuff, but very much rooted in the old school death metal ways. With the debut, however, and the cover is a bit of an indication there. That's a bit of a giveaway. They've adopted a much more progressive death metal sound. And I've listened to this tape quite a lot recently. It's one I picked out when I was recently going through my tape collection, which had grown a little bit beyond capacity. I was having a look, seeing if there was anything that maybe I could part ways with, sell. And I thought, I haven't listened to these ones in a while. I'll just check them out, just give myself a little refresher. And I was very, very impressed. I'm greatly impressed by these, and greatly impressed by this album. Trance of Death is a very strong, very bold opening statement in terms of an opening full-length album. 6+ years after the first release, that's no small measure of time. But what we've got here is a very different sounding band. I think that there was a lot of similarity in the lineup. We've actually got the lineup listed here. They're just going with letters. We've kind of just got the acronym here. But solid, very solid musicianship throughout. Very technical and progressive stuff throughout, certainly with the second side, but we'll get onto that in a moment. The first side is much more similar to the debut self-titled Venenum EP, long EP. In terms of old school death metal, it's quite doomy at times, plenty of ambience, plenty of atmospherics in there. We get an instrumental introduction, then we get quite a technical, progressive, but weighty track, Merging Nebula Drapes. Great titles here, and again, lovely artwork and aesthetics. Then we've got The Nature of the Ground and Cold Threat. All very good songs that have little flourishes of progression here. Great riffs though. You know, there is that intricacy and technicality in the riffs, but it's not going too far into the realms where it's no longer death metal. It's just sort of meandering prog. As I say, I've just never quite gotten on with prog. There's certain progressive bands that I really do appreciate, and it's just something that I haven't quite clicked with. I'll keep working on it. But then we get the second side, which is one track into 3 parts. Trance of Death. So this fills up the entire second side. We've got Trance of Death Part 1, Reflections. Part 2, Metanoia Journey. And Part 3, There Are Other Worlds. So this really is out there kind of progressive stuff. Although rooted in old school again and more similar to the first album stuff, we've got a cello on the entrance introduction there. We've got some different stuff going on. Who doesn't enjoy a good cello? It's got a place. It has its place. But what we've got here is we've got synths and all these soundscapes. We've got lots of atmospherics, loads of ambience. We've got heavy riffs, but this is not just outright, I should say, death metal. This is out there progressive death metal. Vocals, interesting, still got death growls. But I just think for a progressive death album, progressive death band, this is really ear-catching. This has really stuck with me and has really become a bit of a favorite in terms of progressive death. I think what they do really well. They're combining old school death metal and they're making it something quite immersive. It's quite an immersive experience. I would say that second side there is something where you'd struggle to just put it on in the car and just, you know, have in the background. It's really immersive stuff. It really grips you. It's encapsulating, definitely. I think, and because it's a tape where you just kind of tend to put it on and let it run and you're just listening to it, can't quite recall the main distinctions between tracks, but I think the opening track or the opening part is a pretty solid track, more death metal orientated. Metanoia Journey is the instrumental epic, very grand sounding instrumental epic, and it really does sound grand. And then we've got part 3, which is There Are Other Worlds, which is, again, it's a proper robust death metal track, but it has got all kinds of totally trippy stuff going on. It sounds great. I'm actually really enjoying this, and it has encouraged me to try and put a little bit more effort and work into finding some more progressive death metal bands. So, you know, stay tuned. And if you've got any recommendations of good prog death bands, then let me know, because I am interested to hear. So, Venenum. Only 2 releases in many, many years. What, 16 years? That's a long time only to have 2 releases. But I would say this self-titled debut EP from 2011, this is solid. This is good old school death metal, and definitely if you like your old school Asphyx, if you like your good old school death doom, then you're going to enjoy this, definitely. Trance of Death, although if you do enjoy that kind of death metal, you're still going to enjoy this. This is definitely for the fans of prog, for the fans of progressive death metal. Great cover and really good stuff. Adept musicians, capable musicians, solid. So, my friends, if you fancy a little bit of death prog death, whatever, check out Venenum from Germany. Are you a fan of Venenum? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. If you've never heard of it, check it out. Let me know what you think. Do feel free to share your thoughts and comments on Venenum or progressive death metal. If you've got any recommendations, do let us know. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Support is very much appreciated. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good, heavy things. Until next time, take care of yourselves, my friends, and stay heavy.